Chapter 5. How to cultivate willpower. In the accomplishment of a desire, the willpower plays a large part. With a strong will, thought messages can be projected and dispatched to their destination no matter how far distant. If, however, the will is weak and the distant long, the message may not reach the person for whom it was intended, and therefore be wasted. In the case of a weak will, the person without mental help from others is only able to affect those who are near or at a short distance from him. A weak will can be strengthened by mental exercise, much the same way as any faculty can be developed. There are a few people who understand enough of the quality of their willpower to know if it is strong or weak. They mistake stubbornness, obstinacy, and headstrong action and often temper for a strong will. Such demonstrations and characteristics are the result of an uncontrolled will. They are but spasmodic outbursts that leave the will weaker than before, and at the same time cause a person to become discouraged with his own weakness and lack of self-control. The true will has the force and continuity to persistently stick to a purpose, whether it pertains to only one or to all the actions and interests which go to make up the life's career. A strong will never hesitates or falters after a decision has been made. It steadily perseveres until the purpose is accomplished. A powerful will gives to the person the ability to throw great energy into a given thought and keep it there until the object is attained. That thought may be for some personal action or for the action of another person or even for a body of people. A strong will can control a number of people just as easily as it can control one person. The mental vibrations which reach one can in time reach all, for the mental tone of each can be ascertained and harmonized where the will perseveres. The will may seem to be strong because one is able to throw enormous energies into some special effort, but this is no criterion. Its strength is tested by the ability to carry out a continuous course of conduct. If one is given to hesitating as to which of two things he will do, his willpower is weak, and he will do neither. If he makes a resolution and then allows himself to change it because of the suggestions of another, he is being influenced through mentalism and is, in a degree, a slave, for he has sacrificed his individuality and right to decide on his own affairs. He is carrying out another's thoughts and not his own. He will lose confidence in himself, and his will constantly grow weaker. It is evident to all who study men and watch the affairs of life that the person who fluctuates from one opinion to another and from one plan to another never accomplishes any real or useful purpose in life. He cannot attain permanent success. Some people rarely, if ever, come to a definite decision or determination. They drift like a cork upon the waves and are like a plaything for every thought wave that reaches them. These are the people who complain about being buffeted by the world. Their wills are so weak that when times come when they should make a decision of great importance, one that perhaps affects their entire future, they are helpless and unable to decide. The opportunity comes and goes, never to return again. When they see what has been lost, they blame it all on destiny. What do you suppose made their destiny? Why, the thoughts of others, because they would not make it for themselves. The cultivation of the willpower is without doubt the first duty every person owes to himself and to his family. Without a strong will, he can have neither firmness, independence, nor individuality of character. Without it, he cannot give truth its full force or morals their proper guidance, nor save himself from being the slave of other people. The will can only be developed and strengthened by absolute adherence to wise, intelligent resolutions. The person must first consider wisely, then resolve firmly, and then carry out the purpose with inflexible perseverance, and not allow the little difficulties which may arise to discourage him. All who will adhere to these rules can advance to the highest position in the career for which they are best adapted. Always concentrate your attention on the question that comes up for consideration. Decide carefully and to the best of your ability under the existing circumstance, but always make the decision final. Never leave any question half decided, as this is more disastrous to the will than no decision at all. After deciding, persevere as long as you have reason to believe you are right, but do not be obstinate or unreasonable. It often requires a strong will to acknowledge a mistake than it does to stand obstinately by error. When you see that you have made a mistake, exercise your will and correct it. Always decide for yourself, as you will only weaken your will by calling upon other people to help you decide and act. Every effort to maintain a decisive state of mind acts directly upon the will and strengthens it. a determined resolution to decide intellectually and forcefully all questions of life as they present themselves, rather than allow them to wait for something to turn up or until the thoughts of someone else influences the decision, will add great strength to the weakest will. The ability to carry out the following rules will determine the strength of your will. When it is easy to guide your life by these rules, you will then be in possession of a perfectly controlled will. Read the following rules once every day and resolve to make them your guide at all times. I will be master of my own actions. I will never permit myself to become confused or excited. I will never yield to temper nor entertain irritation. I will never make a decision in haste. I will never entertain regrets after I've made a decision. I will make my decisions final and never do anything by halves. I will never act contrary to my own judgment. I will never decide to do which will injure other people. I will always be honest with myself and in my dealings with others. I will impress these decisions upon my mind and live upon them every day. Adhere to these decisions as closely as you can and always depend upon your own best judgment. Other people may be right and you in error, but by following their ideas, you will not strengthen your will. If you should make a mistake, the experience will help you by making you wiser for the future. Do not attempt to do too much at first, for therein is a great source of failure. Accomplish one thing at a time, and each day add some new duty. You would not expect a child to run before it has learned to walk. Many people scatter their plans over too large a field, and while they are competent to do great things, if done systematically and in order, they fail because they never come to a decision as to just what they are going to do first. When the will has gained sufficient strength to be able to make its own decisions, the person may then concentrate for the purpose of attracting to him thoughts and opinions from the minds of other people. These ideas he may compare with his own and then select from them the best for his purpose. It is not safe for him to do this if he is not assured that he has perfect control of his will, for if there is a lack of confidence, he might be led into believing that the opinions of others were superior to his own. To take them and act upon them under these circumstances might be disastrous not only to the plan in question, but also to the future development of his will and individuality of character. Each person should, by means of mentalism, gain as much information as possible that he may apply it to the advancement of his plans, but he must not permit others to force their thoughts and plans upon him. He must be able to make his own selections and decisions, otherwise he might feel constrained to carry out the ideas of others, even at a great loss to himself. Many do certain things and afterwards ask themselves why they did them and are unable to find a reason for it. They were at the time under the influence of the thoughts of another person. My object in teaching this science to the world is to make men and women individuals, to make them gods in their mental, moral, spiritual, and physical strength. The soul of man was made in the image of God, and it is man's duty to keep himself as nearly a perfect image as possible. All who are willing to try should be guided by this science, for it will help them. While reading and studying these instructions, your life is brought into contact with mind through mentalism. If there is any part of this science that you do not comprehend, you can learn it from me by concentrating. For the thoughts I use are always at the command of those who are in harmony with me. The more faithfully these instructions are followed, the more closely you will come into communication with me. After a little practice, you will find it is as easy to call me to you by the virtue of our mentalism as it would be to ring me up on the telephone if you were living in the same town. Remember that distance is no barrier. My thought vibrations travel around the world. You cannot get beyond them. If you send good thought vibrations to me, the best I have will come back to you. In solitude and silence, the holy soul advances with speedy steps and learns the hidden oracles of God. Thomas A. Kempis.